Okay guys, today we are installing the lock actuator for the tailgate on the 23 Nissan Pro 4X. I cannot find this at any Nissan dealership in the country. I had to go to Z1 Off-Road. I'll post the link in the description. I don't know if they just bought them all out, but this is a Nissan, OEM lock kit. So I'm happy that it is the OEM and it's gonna fit great in here. Just opening up the box, it comes with this. I'm thinking this is what's going to be plugged in, maybe in the back panel where you would get power. Comes with the actuator, comes with some wire covering. That's going to be nice as we're coming out of the back of the tailgate, going up under the vehicle and to the side. Gonna have some zip ties, some foam tape, and then Nissan warnings, and then I'll post the directions to all this from the Nissan site in the product description, in the video description. But we can go ahead and get started. We're gonna have to take off the tailgate cover with a screwdriver and get rid of all these screws here. First thing I always just like to do is unhook the negative terminal from the battery, just because we're going to be working inside the D-pillar, and I don't know if there's an airbag in that, but just to be safe, I don't want to knock a sensor that makes the airbag blow up while I'm working back there. So just use a 10 millimeter and take off this terminal, just to be safe. Okay, we've got the back cover off. At least in the Pro 4X, the wiring is already here for some of it, and so you're just going to untape this, and then we're also going to unbolt with a 10 millimeter socket here and there. So undo those. Once you get the wiring harness untaped, there's this white cap, and you might need a screwdriver to get in there and push that little pin down to make this come out easier. Okay, the best way to do this is just hold the actuator like this, and then slip it underneath and line up the holes of the bottom of the actuator to the holes from those sockets you just unhooked, and you want to make sure that that groove there in the actuator sits on top of the locking bar mechanism. And then we'll want to go ahead and add those bolts back while we've got easy access to it. And then you'll want to connect the power into this port. All right, we're on the rear passenger side, and we're going to make sure that everything is clear back here. And then also that the storage bin underneath the seat is removed, and you do that by kind of halfway turning these 3 pins or 3 knobs that are in the storage unit, pulling those out, and then taking the storage unit and just storing it here for now. I'm working back here in the passenger side and rear, and I'm just pulling this trim out a little bit. I'm removing this panel here and the kick plate, and so you can just kind of wiggle your fingers in there and pop it. You can also get some trim tools to pop those to make it a little bit easier on your hands. Okay, I was able to remove the kick plate, and you may not need to pull this deep panel out all the way, but I just undid a little bit in the trim, and then now I'm working on pulling this back panel off, and you can just kind of get your fingers up in there, and you'll hear it click every time you're able to get a pin undone like that, and you just want to take it off here across the back. Okay, I've got the back panel off, and then it is asking to go ahead and remove this whole D panel here, and so I'll do that just by pulling it away from the wall, and you should hear a few clicks and pops as you do. Okay, after you kind of loosen up this D panel, you're going to want to remove the lower kind of covering in the back, and you're going to be looking for a grommet that leads to the back, and so you can see I've just unplugged that. You'll see a different grommet there in white to the left, and this is a black grommet. It's going to be really all you can see. There's this this seat belt holder slash something right there. It's going to block everything else. So remove that grommet, and then you'll need to start wiring up. Okay, so looking at the wires we have to work with, this is what's going to plug into the bed. So this is going to feed through that where we just removed that grommet. The wiring kit comes with a new grommet that this is going to poke through. It's then going to, this is going to plug into, let's see, one of these. Let's see, this is a 2-pin. So this is a 2-pin here, so it'll plug into here. This will get put back here in the corner, and then this is going to plug into, I have to zoom in there somewhere. Well, you can kind of see it. There it is. So this is going to plug into that white cable there. Let's see if it will focus. There it is. And then, so we'll get to work on that. I'm going to just first feed this through that hole and get this grommet set up with this wire coming through, and then worry about this here in a second. Okay, this took way too long. If you've got somebody with tiny hands at the house, this will be very helpful if they can squeeze their hand behind this pillar and plug in that wiring. So what we've got is the grommet through the wall with the cord plugged into the box here. Kind of taped it to the wall. I'm hoping it's in the right spot. It looks like it's probably supposed to be sitting lower just for wall clearance, but I'm hoping it'll all work out. Okay, so I have the cable here, and I'm going to follow the chassis. There's already stuff zip tied to the other side of that, so I'm just going to get under and follow it down. You can see it snaking around there, and I'm just going to follow it and get to the tailgate, and there should be a wired connection there that I'll plug into to then get through the tailgate. Okay, I'm at the back, and you can see we've got the cabling already going through the tailgate, and this is the harness we're going to plug into, and there's should be a little cap on here that you undo and then plug your connection in there. Any excess I have, any excess of the wiring, I'm just going to coil up here and zip tie it probably to one of these holes here above where I'm working. Okay, run the cable along the back chassis, just zip tying it to other cables that are back here, and I've got it plugged in. This is the stopper that came out of it that was keeping it from getting water damage and dirt in there, and so now I'm going to go, before I put everything back together, I'm going to clip some of these zip ties and reconnect the battery and just test it out, make sure it's working. I'm going to put some of this white lithium grease on just some of these metal parts down here. I've just seen where people are having trouble actually getting the actuator to lock and unlock sometimes, and just adding a little touch of grease to these metal moving parts makes it a little bit nicer and easier. Okay, that's after putting some of that grease on there. Went a little heavy on it just to make sure I don't have to do this again someday. Okay, I just hooked the battery up, and I'm going to test this out. Here's the lock. Nothing. And then I'm going to hit the unlock once, twice, Okay, so it unlocks on the second one, and that does it. Okay, well, this was a successful install. I've got a lot to clean up. You know, the bed, the back seat is a mess. Lot to fix here, but I will save that all for another day. Again, appreciate the comments, likes, subscriptions. Any little bit can help. We'll see you next time.